What's up, everybody? Unrested back again, and I've been getting some messages recently. People are asking me to get back on to the rambles. They said, Scott, we enjoy the JFACs, we enjoy your little stuff at the Hanami party and things, but what happened to those rambles? Doing them for a little while. I still love doing them. They're very fun for me. They tend to be very, very long videos. Today's is going to be heavy, guys. It's going to be heavy. And it's going to get into like some religious discussion, spiritual discussion, existentialism. And if that kind of thing offends you, I'm already going to apologize. I'm sorry. I'm not attacking anybody's religion. And whatever religion you are is fine, as long as it's not a religion that cuts into anybody else's rights for living a normal, happy life. As I've always said, the only thing I'm really against when it comes to religion is proselytizing. And that goes for me too. I don't think I should ever proselytize my own set of beliefs, whether you want to call them atheists, which I pretty much consider myself an atheist. These are just my beliefs. I'm not pushing them on you. I'm not saying mine are the only right beliefs on this great green planet. I'm just saying these are what they are. I have been asked in the past a lot of my own personal beliefs and stuff like that. It's not a topic I bring up a lot because if there's one thing I've learned in life is, politics and religion is something you don't bring up unless you want to start an argument. And I'm not out to go around starting arguments with people. I, for the most part, enjoy happy conversations. I do have Christian friends. Actually, almost every friend I have from high school is still a hardcore Catholic, which is Christian. I don't understand why a lot of people in the Christian faith, in the branches of Christianity, don't consider Catholicism Christian. You might want to study the history of religion a little bit if you don't think Catholicism is a branch of Christianity. Sometimes people write me and they don't even understand that there are branches of Christianity. They're like, how is that Christian? Just like there's branches of Buddhism too, there's many, many branches of Christianity. If you're really into your faith, I highly implore you to study it a lot more. There's many great philosophies and learnings about life that you can gain from any faith, I believe. And I think that's kind of where I am to this day. Although I am an atheist, although I do not believe in an afterlife, although I do not believe in any sort of God, that is only one less God than you, unless I guess you're polytheistic or you practice multiple religions. And I've come to this over a long evolution of time. For me, it was a struggle. I did grow up as a Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 12 years. I was a firm believer in God, heaven, hell. Limbo disappeared while I was going to school, which I always thought was strange. They taught, oh, limbo has stopped existing because the Catholic Church no longer believes in it. That was one of the things that first kind of opened my eyes to at least my own faith of Catholicism being a bit hokey, was when things would kind of be edited by the Pope, who apparently God speaks through like a giant microphone. I guess he grabs his body and talks into the head because that's kind of the potato-shaped part. It just seems so goofy to me now. It's amazing to me, though, that I did believe it and how strong of an influence it had on me. Of course, I don't see it in a cultish sense because cults and religions are very different. Cults usually try to get you to go away from your family, and where I would say, honestly, in general, most religions try to bring your family in to grow the religion, if nothing else. Catholicism, man, wow. So, I don't know, I can't really speak on all different branches of Christianity. I have gone to other churches before when I was kind of trying to discover who I was, what I believed. I gave, the Baptists a chance, the Protestants a chance, the Episcopalians a chance. I tried a bunch of different churches as I was starting to fall away from religion. I studied a lot of different religions. I was about to say Taoism at the same time, and that's why I said religionism. I looked into Taoism, I looked into Buddhism, I looked into many, many isms, and many, many forms of Christianity, and stuff even in between, like Zen Christian and stuff like that, and a little bit of everything around the world to see what I could find that I felt like had a really grounded sense. I would say in the end, Buddhism is probably the religion that I found had the most grounded sense of how I feel personally I should live my life on this earth. Not that I feel everybody should live the way I live. I do not follow the codes, the rules, or any such ways of Buddhism now. I just studied it, kind of followed it for a little bit, but the college try was enough, and then I was done. Let me take off my jacket here. It's starting to get a little bit hot. It's rainy today, but it's also humid. The sun's shining pretty hot. There we go. Feeling better now. Feeling more clear and open. So where does that leave me now? Well, let me continue on with my journey with Catholicism first, because I think that's kind of important to show you where I got to today. Up until I was probably about 18, I believed pretty much, I'd say 100%, that Catholicism was totally real, that you really would be banished to hell for doing all the bad things listed in the Bible, the venial sins, the 7 deadly sins, follow the 10 commandments. I guess one kind of nice aspect that helped me believe in Catholicism probably longer than most Christian faiths is the fact that they look at a lot of the stories in the Bible as metaphors. They don't actually take them as technical truth. They're not like, oh yeah, there really was a giant flood that washed everything off the earth and killed everyone. Somehow Noah was able to get kangaroos and fucking polar bears on the same boat and have enough food to feed them all, and every single insect, and bullshit like that, where anyone with half a brain is like, yeah, that's impossible. So luckily for me, I guess, or maybe luckily for Catholicism more so, they were able to keep me on board, because when I would ask questions like that, because even in my youth there was parts where I'd be like, well, here in the Bible it says slavery is cool, like it's like you can have this many slaves, or you can hit your wife when she does this, and I'm like, is that really what this Bible promotes? Like, I would ask my priest this stuff, because you had to do that to go through things like confirmation, to get your first communion. You had to like sit with a priest for a little bit and talk to them, and if you had any kind of like troubles, they were like, if you have any kind of troubles with where you are with Catholicism right now, to make sure you're ready to go through this sacrament, because you've got the 7 sacraments within Catholicism that you go through. I went through every single one, by the way, I guess, except for anointing the sick. I've never been anointed. And I remember asking, and at the time, it was really strange. My church was kind of split on evolution. It was really strange. Like, my school seemed to be accepting it. My church that was connected to the school and my diocese was on the way to adapting to evolution, the theory of evolution. And I was already on board with evolution. I was like, I'm pretty sure evolution seems pretty legit with carbon-based dating and all that different stuff. I'd looked into it quite a bit, and so that was another thing I brought up with my priest at the time, and he was like super old school. He wasn't ready for that at all. And I remember talking to him about it, and he just kind of like brushed it off. He was just like, well, the Bible's the truth, and all that science stuff is just BS. And I was just kind of like, all right, this guy doesn't really have any answers for me, so what? I pretty much went through with most of the sacraments and stuff to, I think, keep my teachers and my parents happy. I feel like that's beliefs that they were born with. My grandmother, my now recently passed grandfather on the other side of my family, they were still strong believers. My grandmother to this day is still a strong believer in the Catholic faith. I'm not going to go up to them and try to talk to them about, how it's not real to me, how none of this really exists. They don't need to learn about that at this point in their life. They're happy with where they are. Same with my parents too. I'm not going to ever try to push the fact that I don't believe in Catholicism, I don't believe in Christianity, I don't believe in God or an afterlife on them. They're happy to believe that that's fine, all right? And I have friends too. I actually have a close friend, my friend Dan, strong Christian believer. I'm not going to try and push my beliefs on him. Again, like I said, I don't like proselytizing. The definition of proselytizing is pretty much pushing your beliefs or religions, or broadcasting them, or going on some sort of mission in order to preach your beliefs and religion onto either a group of people, an area, or a culture in order to get them to believe a lot of the same things. And since I hate that about other religions, I feel atheism can be just as guilty of that, and that's not something I want to proliferate at all. I think one of the things that does make us amazing and diverse is all our different beliefs, our many facets of life, and our many ways of looking at life itself. And so let me continue on with mine as I continue to go off on tangents. So at 18 is really I started to really question stuff. In college, for the first time in my life, I stopped going to church. I tried to go a little bit, but I didn't have the ambition. Every time I went there, you know, you go and listen to homilies in the Catholic Church, and what it is reading part of the Bible. At this point, I had parts of it completely memorized because I'd heard the reading so many times. So I'm not one of these atheists that's just like, fuck religion altogether. I've never even read the Bible. I've listened to it read again and again, and one thing I really notice is they kind of always pick out the best parts. Always like, yeah, this one really went over big for the last couple of centuries. Let's just keep reading this part over and over. They never dig into some of this really crazy aspects of it, like there's the really sexual verses of like, one should grab a woman's breasts like a group of grapes. And that is in the Bible. There is like passages like that in the Bible that like tell you how to like please your woman and stuff like that. You should really research the whole thing fully from Genesis all the way full the Old Testament and out through the New Testament. And that was always strange too, is like some churches threw out the New Testament, some churches changed old things. You had the King James Bible and other religions. Episcopalians didn't like some of the things that Catholics did, but they were almost Catholics. It was so strange to me. I was like, with so many different interpretations, how would we know any of them are right? And if truly there was a God, or truly there was wise men or prophets or saints or some sort of holy beings with any sort of iota of power, surely they would come down to clear up this confusion rather than constantly test us. And even then, if we did not believe all the right sets of beliefs, would there be a God so vain as to punish petty people as ourselves for the easily confused ways that we have with interpreting these books, this book, the many passages in this book? I mean, I'm not going to say the Bible isn't an epic book, because it is. It's epic. It's huge. It's giant. There is some amazingly well-written stuff. But over time, number one, it was written by ancient dudes who had no clue what science was. You know, they believed all sorts of crazy stuff that was just, you know, if we heard it now, we would laugh ourselves silly. Even the most ignorant of science would do so. We have situations that no longer exist. You know, we're not, you know, back then people were pretty much the equivalent of living like homeless people. I mean, you know, they're scraping to get by every day. They're constantly assaulted by Mother Nature. Their shelters were little more than, you know, rocks and sticks piled on top of each other. I mean, you know, they're barely surviving. Lifespan was incredibly short, although some Christian religions seem to believe in the past there were people who lived 4,000 years and 2,000 years, which that gets too crazy for me. I can't even slightly begin to believe that, even in my days of being a Christian. So yeah, I went around. I had a couple girlfriends who were into a couple different churches. I thought, you know what, I'll check out their churches too. Maybe they have some sort of answer. They seem pretty amped on their religion. Didn't like them. I always thought it was a bunch of BS. One of the things that really turned me off about the more stricter versions of Christianity was the fact that they always were like, you need to censor yourself from dirty movies or bad songs or songs with curse words, or like, and as an artist, I felt like, how badly would that affect my art if I censored myself from all the different types of art that were out there? These wonderful, beautiful creations that had no intent to offend anyone at all, rather so have them look at different facets of life or parts of life we had never lived, or emulate life as art is meant to do and give us their interpretation of life. If we burn these records, these books, these movies, and from our existence, and take them away from, you know, our different concepts and others' concepts of lives, surely we rob ourselves of how expansive our own horizons and creativity can be. And that was something that really hit me strongly and turned me off a lot from Christianity. I do not like to be censored in what I can see and do. As far as being censored in what I do, I feel like that should definitely take place when people's rights are violated, and that should go for everyone. We should be allowed to live our lives in the way we feel is best fit for us, to the point that it does not intrude upon other people's. And I felt like Christianity gave a lot of people more boundaries than was necessary, um, and didn't allow them to fully live lives that we only get to live one time. And getting into that, I guess we kind of get into the afterlife and my constant struggle with that. How dearly I wish there was an afterlife, but how entirely true I think it is that we do not. Nor do I believe we have any sort of God or any greater being to look up to or look upon for any sort of guidance at all. That was a hard battle. I think more so the afterlife, more than anything else, was hard for me to battle with. It was a dark period of my life. I studied and studied and studied all these different religions, 12 years of Catholic school, and I mean, we went through the history of Catholicism, we went through the history of all different types of Christian religions, because you do have to do that to understand the history of Catholicism. You have to see what forking paths it took, how things like the King James Bible did get started, how Episcopalianism did get started, how they did break off from the church, all these, the papal schism, just all this different stuff throughout time. By the way, papal schism, another big turnoff to Catholicism. I mean, child molestation too, of course. Horrible, horrible turnoff. But even long before that, which I'm sure a lot of the horrible things that happened back then have long since been edited from the history books, the papal schism had not. And I mean, my God, come on, Catholics, you take a look at that and you really can continue to believe in this bullshit. Anyway, moving on from there, yeah, it was a struggle. It was a dark period. I kind of felt like this is kind of how it went. It was like looking for enlightenment, looking for enlightenment, looking for enlightenment. Or I should say I started at the bottom, kind of like scared little guy, believing in my religion hardcore and God, that he could see everything and hear everything and know everything I was doing at all times. Looking for enlightenment as to how this affects my life, how I can reach a pinnacle of being the best person I am. Finally getting to the top and realizing it's all fucking bullshit. Dropping back down into this pit of despair, saying, oh my God, there is no God, there is no afterlife, I'm completely alone, there is no big, and people get offended when I say this, but this is the way I always think about a big invisible sky daddy to come take care of me after I die. I am nothing, I become nothing, I was nothing before, and I will be nothing once again one day. That's grim. That's grim when it first hits you, when you're like, damn. That is a short time. I am a blip in the universe. I am very much so some would say a drop in the ocean of time, but you're not even a drop. You're a drop in the drop of ocean of time, man. We live such tiny, tiny blips of existence in the giant timeline. And that is depressing when it first hits you, when you're first like, damn, I can't believe it. Nobody's looking after me. No one's looking down on me. When all these humans on Earth abandon me and I disappear into the nothingness underneath the Earth, and I guess they don't really abandon you. They're not going to stick around and play host to a dead body unless that's some sort of strange religion I don't know about. There's nothing for me after that. I am nothing after that. There is no one there. There is nothing there for me after that. I am done. I am finished. Utter, incomplete nothing. Not even blackness, because that would be a color. That would be a visual. Nothing, nothing. It's grim, right? But it also started to eventually inspire me. I had to reassess damn near everything in my life. I had to think, I do have only a short time. I do have only a little bit on this earth. I can only accomplish so much. There is no fucking audition here on Earth for some sort of make-believe casting call in an afterlife. I'm not practicing for some sort of choir or fantasy land in the sky above me. It's now, and that's it. And it made me really think about, who am I now? What do I stand for now? What are my beliefs now? What little tiny, tiny threads can I sew into this existence around me that could perhaps help good things and destroy bad things in very, very minor, tiny, tiny ways? Because let's be honest, I'm not moving mountains here. I don't have any kind of superpower. I'm not even some sort of political power or really even some sort of massive presence on this YouTube media that I use. It gives me a bit of a voice on the internet, but I mean, if we consider the big heavy hitters on YouTube, I am but a very small, minuscule iota of a voice, even on YouTube. Even in the small circle of life around me, the 6 degrees of separation around me, I make tiny ripples in a massive ocean of oceans. But does that mean I shouldn't do it? No, not at all. How we live now is going to be how we are immortal in the future. How we live now is what imprint we can create for the nothingness we will once be. We will soon be. Because it's sooner than you think. And it could be way sooner than you think. It could be today for me, who knows? But it made me think, as an artist, and maybe this only works for an artist, I don't know, because I'm only looking from this as an artist perspective. The more I create from these hands, from this mind, the more concepts I deliver onto paper, which I constantly do every day, the more concepts I deliver onto computer, which I constantly do every day, the more concepts I deliver onto this YouTube, which I do damn near every day, is what's going to be left of me when I'm gone. My kids are what's going to be left of me when I'm gone. What little bit of expression of life I can give to you, the viewer, whether it be helpful or maybe just mind-numbing trash to keep you entertained for a few minutes out of the day, is what I can leave when I'm gone. And that became more beautiful to me. That became more enlightening to me. That made a meaning for my life to have meaning. Because once you lose God, once you lose afterlife, once you lose any sort of future beyond death, you do hit a dark period. People always say, like, I don't see how you could possibly have a meaning to life if there's no God or afterlife. It's true. We do go through that. We do, when we suddenly do get hit in the face, people who convert from religion into atheism, we do get hit in the face. And any atheist who tells you they don't get hit in the face with this holy shit fact that the meaning of life I had before is totally fucking gone, and now I need to, you know, I'm drowning in a pool of utter depression, struggling to get back to the surface and find my meaning again. If they tell you they didn't go through that, then I don't know. Either number one, they're totally fucking lying to you, or number two, they already have some sort of concept far above, on a high level, a much higher level of thinking than I do, and I'm totally open to that idea. I realize I'm not the brightest guy on earth. I realize I don't come up with the highest level concepts of meaning of life. Who cares? The one I've made up for myself is good enough for me, and really that's all that matters. Is you making up a concept of what the meaning of life is for you. Because really, in the end, what it turns out to be is the meaning to life is finding your meaning to life. And that can still be incorporated into those of you who have religion, God, afterlife. You can use that meaning to life to better facilitate the goals that your religion thinks is important. I think that's very, very possible. On top of that, there's so much more you can think about of how you want to leave a legacy of you. And that's something you can get on each and every day. That's something I try to get on each and every day. And, you know, maybe it's not so important when you're younger. Maybe you're like, damn, that's thinking too deep for me. I don't want to deal with this heavy shit right now. Because I'll be honest, when I was like 16, 17, I did think of these like kind of existential ideas, but I couldn't think of them on this level because, number one, I just wasn't smart enough, studied, well-versed enough, well-read enough. The internet had just barely started, guys. I'm from a time when there wasn't a Google. I couldn't just Google every single question I had. If I had a question, usually the people I would first go to is my parents, who would give me usually a religion-based answer, or my teachers, who would again give me a religion-based answer. So it took me a very long time to reach this point of factoring in other existences that have meaning outside of religion. And now that I have, I'd say I'm a very happy person. It worked out really well for me in the sense that before, and I think a lot of Catholics can attest to this may not be true for other versions of Christianity, and from what I can understand, it's really not. we're so fucked in Catholicism. We're so damned to hell. There's bumper stickers in America, I know, that says, the reason I look so sad or I look so grim is because I'm a Catholic. And that's because we're so fucked with how our religion works. Especially before Vatican II got started. If you learn anything about Vatican I, how the church was before, it was just like, damn near everything you did sent you to hell. You know, Vatican II kind of lightened the load on us and, you know, said things like, okay, well, I guess you can commit suicide and we're not going to send you straight to hell. It's like, oh, so that person was in total pain to the point that they committed suicide and now you send them to hell on top of it? That was another thing. And during my time, when I was growing up, that was still part of my religion. I was just like, holy fuck, what a cruel ass God. Another thing that always bothered me too, and now I'm kind of just rambling about things that bothered me in the past about religion, was here is one thing I always had a big complaint about. And I would question my priests about this all the time. With a lot of Christian religions, if you are not a true believer in whatever the Christianity is, you're pretty much damned to hell. All right, you're not enlightened. You're damned to hell. You're not following the path that God has made out for you to, you know, reach that stairway to heaven. However, you know, I mean, I'm not saying anything verbatim from any religion. No book is written so poorly as how I have worded this, but pretty much that's the concept. You find God in this religion, you believe it, you follow it as good as you can, you go to heaven. If you never find it, hell. And I always thought, okay, so I know around the world there are actually tribes secluded from the rest of society, even to the point that the other societies around them have gone out of their way to keep them secluded so that they can keep their traditions, their culture, their religions, their beliefs, etc., etc. They never learn about Christianity, they never learn about the Christian God, or maybe any other religion that has the same concept. Have all those religions damned them to hell already just because they didn't learn about this? And if that's the case, why doesn't God step in? Why doesn't he come down and be like, excuse me, tiny tribe in the middle of the Amazon. People around you are not telling you, but I'm here. And if you don't follow me, you're not going to heaven. So get on this train, bro. You know, like that kind of concept. And when I would question my priest about that, he'd be like, yeah, well, you know, there's some kind of path that they've chosen in their life that's just led them to stay in that tribe, and you know, they could probably escape that and run away to society and learn about it. And it's just like, so you'd rather see like societies and cultures toppled so that they could be branded by Christianity, have that ear tag put on and join the fucking herd, right? Oh, brother. So again, like, and I'm not labeling all religions with this kind of disposition, with this kind of belief system. I'm just saying I did see a few branches of Christianity. Remember, I'm just talking about branches. I'm not talking about every branch of Christianity as a whole, please. There was other things too. I mean, study into like Mormonism, you get into that, and fucking angels coming down from heaven giving some guy an extra set of commandments made of gold that he then had to give back to them, came back out of the woods and said, hey guys, I had this stuff handed to me, totally totes for real, bro, and it's gonna get you to heaven. Follow my new ways of the church, yo. Come on. Oh, I got a big nasty piece on my lip. That was gross. Part of my bagel from this morning. That's nasty. Oh, on camera. I mean, what other things do I have? I mean, any kind of, you know, any kind of religion that just sets up a path that says if you don't follow this direct path with our direct religion, you're going to hell. We damn you to hell. If you don't get on this boat, you're gonna go ahead and burn that sea of flame below us. I can't see how God would be so vain. Like such a powerful, omnipotent figure. And that's where we get into omnipotence, the ability to do all. There's not one thing that he can't do. So what's up with Satan, bro? All right, he's bad for people, right? And the devil, people believe in the devil and stuff. You have the power to destroy anything, just destroy Satan. But I mean, again, then we get into the concept of like, if God is all omnipotent, then okay, can he create a rock that he can't lift? Yes. Well, then if he can't lift that rock, then he's not omnipotent. He can't do everything. So, I mean, you get into like that catch-22, that, isn't it called a paradox, I believe? Whatever. You know, And again, realize even as I'm giving you this thought process of mine that is my concept of my own existence, my own personal experiences and belief system. They're not things I'm pushing on you. They're me telling you how I see the world. Okay? That being said, that is kind of the process that led me here to how I look and believe in the world today around me. I'm not saying it's the right way. I'm not saying it's the wrong way. I'm not saying your way is right or wrong. In the past, I've made some statements about religion where people think I'm like very much so against it, but I think you would be surprised to see I have many religious friends if you knew me in person. Because remember, when you see these videos, you only learn a fraction of my life. I have many religious friends, many friends who are very deep believers in their own religion. And we do have existential debates. Mind you, they are friendly, they never get out of hand. We don't get to even raising our voices or anything like that. I have friends who are not for LGBT, something I'm constantly always for, and I argue with them about it. I do not hate them, throw them out of my friendship, throw them out of my circle, cast them away, go all social justice on them or anything like that. There's no point. Like I said, for me to proselytize any of my own beliefs onto anyone else and try to convince them to join me in my way of thinking is the same thing I disdain about a lot of religions that go on missions and stuff like that. And really, let's be honest, when people are ready to change, they change themselves. They change from the inside out. You don't change them outside in. They make that choice. They come to their own conclusions. You can suggest, you can steer, you can point to a path, but for the most part, I would say a lot of people change, whether it be for good or bad, from the inside out, not from the outside in, not from you preaching to them from the outside and convincing them deep inside their own soul. Usually what they do is they digest the information that you've given them, they assimilate it in some sort of way that it eventually opens up a block in their life, and they place that block in there, close up the block, and continue on. Guys, that is my little dip into the existential. I hope I did not offend anybody today. If I did, I'm already apologizing like I did at the beginning of this video. I do hope you're not the overly sensitive type and have gone all the way through this video to the end only to reach the comments, or did not listen to the full video and comment that, oh, you're so stupid, how dare you attack my religion? Because I'm not. Because I'm not. You're allowed to, you're more than welcome to. I do not have any anger towards you for what you believe in. Believe in whatever. Okay, these are just my beliefs. I'm unrested. If you like what you saw here today, please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know your own views on life. Let me know your own comments on how you view your own existence. What are your beliefs? Are you part of a religion? That would be interesting to know how many religious fans I have. Although I usually call them viewers, I don't call them fans. Because I don't really think everybody who watches me is my fan. I think I have some people who love to watch me but also love to hate me. I can understand that too. I can't make everybody happy. Let me hear your views on life. Let me hear your views on my view on life. What flaws do you see in my existentialism, in my version of my own life, in my laws that I put on myself, in my broadcasting of my own version of how immortality works on this very physical earth that I see before me? All comments and stuff welcome, even if they're totally against my beliefs. It's totally okay. I don't care. I want to see. Open my mind, expand my horizons. Let me see your ways. Okay? I'm unrested. Have a good one.